it. Like we're two friends talking. You're a great friend. You're a great comic. You're an incredibly talented guy. You, like Virginia and Julie were for me, you're both for your mom. And that's harder because you're not protecting the baby behind you. You're protecting the grown-up in front of you. That's an insane task to take on. And is it safe to say that's the task you've taken on? Protecting your mom at all costs.
Of course.
Yes. So, if you're going to think about children, you have to somehow switch gears and think about having children and pouring all the good things your father poured into you on those Sundays. And more so, this mother that you're telling me about is this incredible woman that just kept going and going and going and going and going. Teach your kids that. These are the lessons in your story to a baby. Persistence. Your mother. Unconditional love. I'll work at Sears at a cafeteria and I'm going to work mother hours to make sure I'm at home so I can walk in on my son's tissue box funeral for his dead match card. Here's the thing in my book. My wife wrote the Cox-Mohr questionnaire. And I'm going to ask you seriously. And I don't want this on fucking Twitter. I don't want this on your website. I don't want Steve Axworthy to know about it.
He's our web guy.
But I want you to tell
He's
me.
my rabbi.
But yes. Yet. But here's the thing. If you let me know the answers way after these mics are done, the next time you see your dad, I think it'll fuck your head up what he responds. And I'm going to give you an example. Nick handed this to me on an airplane. She said, because I was working on the book, Gary Unmarried, and a movie. And she goes, well, I can't play Gary.
Yeah.
So she wrote the step parenting chapter. Oh. She wrote the intro to the book. And this is like shit she wrote on like napkins on a plane and handed them to me. I never told my publisher. And now I don't have to deal with them anymore. So guess what? My wife wrote a third of the book. Do you think it's okay to spank a child? If so, when and why? What's the hardest thing about being a father? What's the easiest thing about being a father? Okay. My childhood, I would say I love you to my dad. And he'd go, okay, you're in my light. He'd say, you're in my light, because he was always reading. He's an erudite. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I always thought he didn't like me at all. My father's answer, let me find it. This is my answer. This is Jackie's answer. We'll tighten this up in post if we have to. Okay. What's the hardest part about being a dad? Disciplining children appropriately is the hardest part about being a father. You got to keep... I was fucking you know me now post-medication.
Right.
Picture me, or you for that matter, at 5 without a mic in a comedy club. We were not easy kids to be around. So in that statement, disciplining children appropriately is the hardest part about being a father. That's him questioning, did I do it right? That's his answer. The hardest part, was I too rough on him?
Yeah.
But he's not going to say to me, but he wasn't too rough on me. I was fucking crazy.
Yeah.
What's the easiest part about having children? And he writes, loving them unconditionally is the easiest part about having children. I didn't even know he liked me.
Right.
Loving me was the easiest thing about me.
When you were in his light.
But that was just him. That's what I'm saying. There's no rainy day where he's going to not want to come home from a long day at a bullshit office.
But let me ask you this. If Jackie comes up to you, you're reading, I says, I love you, you're going to well up.
I look him right in the eye and I say, I love you too. And I say in the book, you guys like you, guys like me, him, us, we're the first generation of I love you dads.
Oh.
This is the first generation of dads that are at the parks playing. Yeah. You were just laying down on the floor with a kid that you knew for 14 minutes. Our dads would have had an open can of beer that you had to open with the can opener and give it the little hole on the other side for a smoother draw. And like you hand them a kid, they'd be like, yeah, who's fine? And they would have just set him down on top of a sprinkler head by accident. The easiest part of having me was loving me. And that's how your father feels. I mean, I never thought in a million years that would have been my father's answer. What do you want for your children when they grow up? Happy and at peace with themselves was his answer. What's the most important lesson? He writes, the golden rule. How would you be different from your own dad? My father writes, what's my number one thing about my dad? What do I wish had happened my entire life? The same as you. I need a little more love.
Yeah.
I need a little more attention.
Yeah.
I need a little more demonstrative words, right?
Yeah, although I will say that my father was a big I love you guy and very affectionate.
My father was not, but listen to his answer. How would you be different, father, from your own dad? I would be more loving and less demanding of achievement. I would be more loving.
Yeah.
I'm always going, why can't he be more loving? And
Right.
in his answer, he's going, I'll tell you, the one thing I would do different from my father was I would be more loving.
Yeah.
You got to give this quiz to your father because I think his answers will. There's no closure in this. That's the biggest bullshit thing. Like,
Right.
at least that way, hey, you know who killed your kid? At least now you got closure.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You see it all the time.
Yeah, closure is so overrated.
Yeah. Well, you gave her CDs back. There's closure.
Yeah.
But you will have a peek inside the mind of the guy that loves you more than you could ever imagine. When you were born, Gary, you were this man's most fantastic thing. Stars came out of the sky and filled a onesie in his home. You were the baby. They passed out fucking cigars. He never stopped feeling that way. And you even said he was an I love you dad.
Yeah.
His fatal flaw was playing the ponies, so to speak. Right?
Yeah.
So what are you going to do? You're going to, we covered a lot of ground here.
We really did.
I learned you can't possibly be you in a relationship because you're too busy being you, your brothers, and your father in the relationship with your mom. Right?
I'm sure.
A therapist never told you go to therapist how often?
Once a week.
They never said this to you?
I remember the therapist that the football team sent me to in college said 19. I was
Come on, Hogs!
I was 19
The great Santini.
and he said you're your mother's husband. You're playing a husband.
And is it true today?
Probably.
What do you mean proud? Fucking
Yeah,
know
of
if
course.
it is or not. You
Of
just
course,
don't admit
but
it.
you admit it and you sound like half a fig.
You don't sound like half of. I don't have time to drink. I don't have time. What are you worried about your suit for, Charlie? You
You
ain't
ain't got no job to wear it to.
That's right. Because you stole. Listen. Will you take this home?
Yeah, of course.
But listen,
I'm honored.
will you... My wife gave you like a real book, and I'm giving you a book where I look like I have Down syndrome on the cover.
Oh, God.
Will you give your father that quiz?
Yeah, of course. The next time I see him.
Which is when?
I'll probably go home in February.
You're here until February?
No, I'm here until I make it. No, I'm here. I'm in New York until February. I'm like on the road and doing the cellar until February.
We didn't even get to like any jokes,
No, I know.
but I think it was one of the better podcasts ever.
Come on. It's nice of you to say. Really? Thank you.
What are you, a silent partner?
You know who will love it?
Your mom.
Barry Katz.
Barry, yeah, if he's not at a table
Man,
reading.
I never knew.
If he's not at a table reading of Whitney.
I've always... Oh, no.
What?
He
He's the
still
executive.
has to go?
No, I told him not to go.
It's so awkward.
That's what I told him. What are you doing there?
Put it analogize it towards a relationship.
I don't know.
It's like an ex-wife, and you have to go to your ex-wife.
No, you don't have to. No one wants you to.
Right. That's even right.
You know what
you
it is?
decide to go.
It's a girl breaks up with you and says, you can have the dog. And when you walk the dog, you ring the doorbell like, you want to come with me to walk the dog? And she's like, no, I only gave you the fucking dog to cushion the blow of I'm fucking the other guy.
Yes.
Where are you performing, Gary? Where are you performing?
I'm at the Cellar every night.
All right,
When I'm in New York City.
Huge, mostly tri-state area listeners in California.
Right.
So California, sorry.
Yeah.
But if you go to YouTube, do me a favor and look at Gary Gulman's Discman bit. And by the way, there's many different versions on YouTube. Montreal, Just for Laughs, maybe the single worst audience I've ever seen you stand in front of.
Right.
It was unbelievable. It's such a funny bit. And they're just sitting there like, we're industry people. Fuck him. Oof. Who's this tall, handsome Jew? And can he carry a show?
Ugh. I didn't even think about that.
It's the worst audience because I saw someone tweet it. Some random anonymous like ham and egger out there was like, God damn, this makes me laugh. And they tweeted your Discman bit, and I retweeted it back when I was constantly tweeting and getting in fights with Real Housewives of New Jersey cast members.
Oh, that's really nice.
Me and Melissa Gorga are fighting, and people are like,
you know, I got a new CD that I made with Comedy Central that'll be coming out in the spring, and maybe
can they pre-order it?
No, but the next time I come out, I'll have you listen to it, and then maybe it'll be out by then.
But if you're in New York, are your dates listed on your website?
My non-New York dates are, but the Comedy Cellar, if I'm not on the road, if you go to my website and I'm not on the road, then I'm at the Comedy Cellar every night.
And if you do see Gary Gulman at the Comedy Cellar, give him a hug. Say, hey, man.
He's a very huggable man. Buddy, you're so huggable.
Come on, buddy. You want to hear the best? Is that Jamie Masada?
Yeah.
Want to hear the single greatest Jamie Masada story of all time?
Yes.
Let's
preface it by saying that Jamie Masada is the owner and
of course. Sorry,
yeah.
I'm so lost in your life that I keep forgetting we're putting out a product.
Yeah.
For free.
I know, and people will complain.
It's a little late, JJ. Sorry. All right, fuck it. On time, $6 a week. Everybody, add me up. Jamie Masada owns a Laugh Factory here in Hollywood, and he's an Israeli guy. And who does he look like? Like a cross between like Jamie Farr, but without the nose. He's like a mensch, almost like Don Ho.
Yeah, but gosh, he's. I'm trying to think who he looks like.
Very thick accent, and he watches the comics. And there's this mysterious like fourth floor office that you never ever get to see. And one night, me, Ralphie May, and Jamie go upstairs just to smoke grass. And Jamie goes, let's go upstairs. Like he had a couple glasses of wine. He's like, buddy, come on, get Ralphie. Let's go upstairs. And I'm thinking, you're going to make Ralphie go up 4 flights of stairs? We get to the fourth floor, and we are so fucking high, I realize, we've been sitting here about 40 minutes, and no one has talked. Like we're at Jamie's desk.
Yeah. And
we're all just sitting there just staring. We're that high. And then I'm like, well, if I act like I'm alive, the other guys will follow. Like a mob mentality. So I just pick my head up and go, whew. And Jamie Masada looks at me and goes, look at Ralphie. We're at a desk. He's on that end of the desk. Ralphie's on the edge of the desk. And I'm on the other side of the desk. Whereas we're closer than me, you, and Matt Cohen right now. There's maybe 11 square feet. And he just looks at me as high as a person could be and goes, look at Ralphie. And I go, what? And he goes, just look at him, man. And that's what I do. And then Ralphie starts giggling. And in the middle of Ralphie giggling, he goes, hey, what the fuck, man? And then Jamie goes, just look at him, man. Look at, like, we're so high. Look at his body. If you really want to enjoy this weed, look at Ralphie. Just look at him.
Oh, my God.
And then we stood up to go back downstairs. And I go, did you forget anything? And Jamie goes, it's fucking glue. And me and Ralphie to this day don't know what he meant.
Oh, my God.
Do you still have your Discman?
I have my first Discman. It doesn't work anymore, but I still have it.
Do you frame it?
No, my mother's like a hoarder, so everything that I've owned is
what? Now you bring this up an hour and a half in? Your mother's a hoarder?
She's like a hoarder. It's not to the point
She's
where
like a hoarder.
There's a room that you don't go in because it's
we had Matt Paxton on. He could straighten her out.
You're
5 steps away. 5 decisions away.
You know the overfilled 70s freezer? You pull out a Langostinos and all of a sudden you're under a frozen food avalanche. That's this
after
one
you chip
room
away
in the
all the
house.
ice.
Yes, the ice. Yes, that's my brother's bedroom in my mother's house. She's turned it into a repository for all the things she buys late at night.
You know why?
On
QVC.
why?
You want to know why? Children and pouring all the good things your father poured into you on those Sundays, and more so. This mother that you're telling me about is this incredible woman that just kept going and going and going and going and going. Teach your kids that. These are the lessons in your story to a baby. Persistence. Your mother, unconverted. Like we're two friends talking. You're a great friend. You're a great comic. You're an incredibly talented guy. Like Virginia and Julie were for me, you're both for your mom. And that's harder because you're not protecting the baby behind on your website. I don't want Steve Axworthy to know about it.
He's our web guy.
But I want you to tell me.
He's my rabbi.
But yes. Yet. But here's the thing. If you let me know the answers way after these mics are done, the next time you see your dad, I think it'll fuck your head up what he responds. And I'm going to give you an example. You're protecting the grown-up in front of you. That's an insane task to take on. And is it safe to say that's the task you've taken on? Protecting your mom at all costs.
Of course.
Yes. So, if you're going to think about children, you have to somehow switch gears and think about having conditional love. I'll work at Sears at a cafeteria and I'm going to work mother hours to make sure I'm at home so I can walk in on my son's tissue box funeral for his dead match card. Here's the thing in my book, my wife wrote the Cox-Mohr questionnaire. And I'm going to ask you seriously, and I don't want this on fucking Twitter. I don't want this